there's three movements that are connected. The first is that there's a move right the way across the world towards greater accountability. You know, the time of giving a check and just saying, we trust you to get on with it, has passed in most countries and is on the way out in most places. I think there's also a sort of wish to get more focused on what outcomes are being delivered. The difficulty, and I think why we're often, social impact bonds are accused of being expensive, is that people don't know what outcomes are being delivered with the present money. So when you end up saying your outcomes are going to cost this much, they say, how much? We think we're getting much better outcomes than that. But they actually don't know. And therefore, you have a rather difficult situation where people are actually having to wake up to reality of not knowing. Because at the moment, we have got a narrative-driven world in the social world. You can tell great stories, you can raise money off them. And suddenly we're finding, actually you need not just great stories, but you need to demonstrate they're real. And I think what social impact bonds is really pushing people to put their money where their mouth is in that context. And then I think the last piece is that if you're actually generating that data, then you should be responding to it. And if you look in the business world, the focus on adaptation and the focus on learning and learning organizations is incredibly high. So if you imagine if you were in a startup in Silicon Valley and after 6 months you said, and my business plan is exactly the same as it was at the beginning, they would worry that you were incredibly naive and probably you'd be fired and a new chief executive would arrive. Still at the moment, if you're contracted by government to provide a social service, if you want to change your contract after 6 months to do something different, they'd say, what's gone wrong? Why aren't you able to deliver the same service as before? Why is that wrong? And lots of people would have been invested in what was said at the beginning rather than what's being learned in that first 6 months. So at the moment, contracting mechanisms are designed to minimize learning rather than to improve things. And that's what we're very focused on.